Hello and welcome to Starsector, a single-player, top-down, I guess, space exploration game with an emphasis on exploring, trading, combat, and, well, the real emphasis is on fleet command, and you shall see all about this soon. This is very much an indie game. You will not see this on Steam, yet it has been in development since 2011, so it's got quite a history, and this is version 0.97 alpha. So there have been many iterations of this game, and there are many mods for it, but we are playing pure vanilla. No mods at all, none. I think that seems to be appropriate for the first playthrough. Before I go any further, the only adjustment I have made in the settings is I have inverted the behaviour during, I guess, combat it is really. Make turnkey strafe and make the ship auto turn to cursor, so the ship faces where my cursor is, and I can use, you've got WASD. I use the A and D buttons to strafe. That just feels a lot more natural, I find. Right, I guess we might as well continue, or rather start a new playthrough, is what I mean to say. Okay, let's just pick, I don't know, at random until there's something. There we go, something like that will do. My name is Jimmy, of course. Honorific Sir. I am very tempted by Sir, Ma'am, and Captain. Where's Commander? My games normally call me Commander. Oh well, never mind. Captain will do. It's a bit of a demotion, but whatever. We're going to go for mixed sector age, and we're going to go for a normal sized map. All pretty standard, apparently, the way you play that. And that's pretty much that. Let's continue. So, this is where we have our character set up. Your most recent occupation was, what, a bounty hunter, where we get a wolf-class frigate. I'm very tempted by that, because the wolf-class frigate is a lot of fun. Where we've got a scavenger commanding a wayfarer-class combat freighter, an explorer leading a salvage expedition from aboard an apogee-class cruiser, which is the one we're actually going to select here. We could start with a hammerhead, or a freelancer doing whatever jobs you've been made be able to find, which is a randomized start, which could be quite a lot of fun. We're going to go for the apogee because it's quite a bit of heft behind that thing, and you also get quite an accompaniment of a cruiser's freight. You even get a freighter as well, the Wayfarer class freighter, which is one of the other options. But we want to try and pick up a Wolf class ship because I do find it quite fun. Right, we're going to play on normal, yes, and we are absolutely going to start with the tutorial so that you can see what this is about. So I have been giving this a quick go as well so that I'm somewhat familiar with the UI. However, this is going to be extremely painful if you are familiar with the game. Very painful to watch, so you may not enjoy it at all. But you'll have to just make do. Okay, so here we go. Welcome to the Persian sector. Your fleet is in the middle of nowhere and critically low on supplies. If you don't acquire more supplies, your fleet will suffer through a slow but ultimately fatal decline. Fortunately, there's a debris field nearby. Move up to it and activate your scavenge ability to search it for useful cargo. Scavenging requires heavy machinery, but there is some in your cargo holds. Make sure to take all of the supplies and any other valuable cargo, but feel free to leave the cheap and bulky metals behind. To get your fleet moving, click on the empty space in the direction you want to move. So we're going to take everything here because we can sell stuff, you see, that's a thing. Trading is very much a thing. This is the debris field up here. So we're going to just move directly up to it, and you can see there on the toolbar we've got the option now to scavenge. That's just lit up, so go ahead and press 6. Okay, okay. Your fleet assumes a stable orbit relative to the debris field. The field appears to be stable and will not drift apart anytime soon. Long-range scans indicate it's possible something of value could be found here. The salvage that remains is extremely difficult to get to, and there's a high risk involved in running a salvage operation. So, there is always a risk-reward factor with salvaging. Now, in my little practice run of this said likely, not possible. I assume it's unlikely, possible, and likely, I'm guessing. But so it's basically medium chance of there being something there, high risk involved, so we're probably going to lose like a crewman or something like that. I'll come to that later as well, in terms of how that works. Let's assess it. So we have got, what? We've got a lot of crew actually, a lot of machinery. We're going to try it anyway. So our scavenging effectiveness is not very good, but we're going to go ahead and begin the salvage operation anyway. An accident, oh dear. An accident during the operation has resulted in the loss of 2 crew and 7 heavy machinery. That is not good. That's a dreadful start. We did get some supplies though, and we got some of that heavy machinery back. The only thing is we lost the crew. We have a lot of them, but we do need a lot of them. Pick up some fuel. These heavy metals here, these are generally not very useful. So they're generally good to sell, but we'll always keep a small supply in case we do actually need them, and I've just not discovered that yet. That is absolutely possible. We can also take all as well. I just did that quite slowly. So, what are we looking at here? What's going on here? We've got our money. We've got the amount of supplies here that we use per day. The date is always moving, I should point out. It wants us to quick save. We'll go through this first. We've got how much fuel we have here, fuel capacity. This is our burn level, so when we're moving, you can see there we've got maximum burn level of 8 at the moment. So can I scavenge anything else, or is it just this whole area is 1? It's just 1. We then have our combat readiness. These are all stuff we'll come to later. Well, we'll leave it at there for now. So let's go ahead and make a quick save. Alright, there we go. A pirate fleet is approaching. First you're spotted as a sensor contact, then as an unidentified fleet, and then when it gets very close you'll see its true colours. So the reason it's going to be unidentifiable is because it's not using its transponder. Don't worry, the pirate sheet is a shoddy rust bucket, and if you do lose you can press F9 to quick load. Hopefully we don't lose. Even so, combat can be expensive, especially if there's no bounty on the enemy you fight. Deploying ships into battle reduces their combat readiness, and recovering combat readiness consumes supplies. Battle damage can cost even more supplies to repair. So basically, think of combat readiness a bit like morale in XCOM, I guess, if any of you have been watching the channel in the past. That's a good way to possibly compare it in some ways. So there it is. We can't tell what it is until we get really close. It's some rogue miner that's, you know, decided to attack us. So we have got 4 options here. We can open a comm link to try and communicate. We can move into engage. We can attempt to disengage, but I hear there's a lot of risk involved with this. And then we can also spend a story point, we'll come to those, to get out of this, but we're just going to obviously move into engage because that's what the game wants us to do. Right, now we could let everything work automatically, or we could transfer command for this engagement. We're going to go in manually, and of course we're going to take our apogee. We'll also have some assistance. We don't need much. We could technically take this out on our own, but I think it'd be nice to have a little something about. What have we got? Light support carrier. I think we have. Do we have a drone one? Combat freighter? I mean, I guess that might do. Maybe the light support one. Oh no, that's not what I want to do. Transfer command. Sorry, sorry. That's my flagship. Continue. Now we select what we use. So deploying a ship reduces its combat readiness by a fixed amount, and then they lose combat readiness during the actual encounter. So I'm in this. I'm going to take this. It costs supplies to deploy each ship, and obviously it depends on the ship. So for instance, our apogee here, it is. Am I saying that right? Apogee? Apogee? Apogee sounds better. Let's go with that. Our apogee. Then we've got our Condor light support carrier. Yeah, that'll do. It's the recovery cost would be 28 supplies. Deployed, it costs 30. Or is that 30 deployment points? Sorry, that's 30 deployment points. So we have up to 240 points. Maximum battle size is 400 points. We'll look at all of this another time. For now, let's get into the combat and see what it's all about. So here we are. We're currently paused. I can get off this menu anytime I want, but we're gonna keep it on here. Let them go automatically. Alright, now here we go. We can see our 1 enemy contact. We can click on it and we have a number of options. We can choose to avoid it, which would be weird because it's just one little ship. We're just going to press eliminate, and basically everyone's going to sort of go in on that. So here I am, I believe. Right, lovely. We've got a number of things set to auto fire. As you can see, my ship's kind of doing the work itself. I'm going to right click to raise my shields. No sense of taking damage in something so basic. I've currently got an energy weapon targeted, which does standard damage to whether it's got shields up or it's unshielded. I mean, yeah, this is barely a fight. We'll just let the drones pretty much do this and all the auto fire stuff. Basically, there we go. Yeah, so there's different weapon types, they do different things. We'll come to that later. But yeah, not to mention the effects of shields are not so simple as well. Right, there we go. So what did we get? Blah, 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 blah. 1 crew and no marines were lost during the last engagement. Presumably my allied ship lost a crewman. It's a shared pool of crew, by the way. Your forces were able to gain a complete victory. Your forces were able to recover some combat readiness as they control the battle space and engagement was limited. Relationship with pirates is reduced by 3. So your salvage crews were able to recover 325 credits from the CPU cores still active in the wreckage. I mean, that's nice. A couple of credits is nice. We also get some goodies, so I'll drag these manually for now, just so we can go over each one. Don't know if I pointed out, that's the fuel. A lot more metal. And then what else did we get here? We got a couple of Vulcan cannons. So their primary role, if you look down to primary data, is point defense. You have various hard points on your ships. If you shove a point defense weapon on one of them, they can behave by themselves, essentially. They'll do their own thing. They will also shoot missiles out if you have them set to auto-fire, which you always should. So point defense is very useful. Very, very useful. Right, there we go. Your fleet supply consumption has just gone up. Recovering combat readiness used to deploy ships into battle cost supplies, as does repairing battle damage. To reduce supply use, repairs and combat recovery on ships can be suspended from the fleet screen. So you can suspend recovering if you need to preserve supplies. We're okay, I think, for now. So we'll open the fleet screen just so you can see the fleet screen. It's down here. We've got a load of options, you know, and then it says the highlighted letter is the quick way of opening it. Okay, yeah, here we go. Here's the fleet. And this one here, it does deploy drones. That's what we used. I rather like this, actually. I think the drones are just a nice distraction. They just kind of add chaos to the whole thing. And then here's the rest of it. We've got the Spacefarer and then Glory of Stars. There you go. We have a number of options for each ship as well, so we can have a look at what they are. There's so many different details in the ships, for instance. If you go right to the bottom of this screen, you'll see hull mods, civilian grade hull, missile autoloader, and then you'll see something sort of kind of faded out saying unreliable subsystems with D in brackets there. That basically means it has, what's it called, a D mod. It's basically a damage mod. Every ship pretty much has something, and it's basically a negative trait because everything's sort of in disrepair. And yeah, you've got some ships are in worse state than others, is all I can really say there. And that, you know, for instance, take a look at my Apogee. It's fine, actually. It is. Ooh, it is clean. I rather like that. What have you got? Compromised armor. So presumably the effects of your armor are not as good. So we do need to be very careful about that support carrier. Unreliable subsystems. I don't really know what that does because I'm very new to this. A faulty power grid. Again, not certain. Maybe something to do with shields, but no, probably not. Alright, down here we've got a few more options, as you can see. So we've got cargo capacity. We've got 785 and we're only using 282, so that's why we're going to grab everything we can find. Down here we have our crew numbers. Now, this is very important. Personnel capacity. We can hold up to 690 crew. We have got 485, and we require a minimum of 285 skeleton crew for all ships to function optimally. Now, let's say we ran a bit low on crew, and then we recovered a ship. We would have to mothball, let's say, that ship we just recovered. You know, that's this option here. Mothballing is just shutting it down and towing it along, essentially. Businesses do that with, like, factories and stuff, you know, during weak economic cycles and stuff. So, yeah, that's that. We've got fuel capacity. Total fuel capacity is 610. We're carrying 199. It's mainly traveling in hyperspace that uses a lot of fuel. So we don't need to worry about that for now. We're going to carry on, you know, collecting a lot of stuff. Right, before we quick save here, we can see character is highlighted here. It's flashing. It wants me to click on it. There's also a plus next to it, so presumably we have some levels to dish out. So it's gone ahead and given me 2 skill points and 4 story points. The skill points are used, as you can see here. You've got these 4 skill trees. Combat, leadership. Combat is your own combat capabilities. Leadership is your fleets, which I have a feeling I'm going to be using this quite a bit more than I originally suspected. We've got technology and industry. I'm probably going to limit my own because I'd rather utilize my other ships. But we're going to begin with industry because this is the most useful. We also want to work our way up to here, which is hull restoration. This is very important as a new player. All of your ships are almost always recoverable if lost in combat. Ships lost in combat have a 75% to 90% chance to avoid demods, and also there's a chance to remove those demods from a randomly selected ship in your fleet each month. So that's really nice. So we want to work our way to this ability. So we're going to spend our first 2 abilities down here. We're going to begin with salvaging because this will snowball quite quickly. It will compound over the course of an entire playthrough. So we get plus 50 resources, not rare items, but we do get, you know, plus 20% post-battle salvage. And we don't lose as much crew in non-combat operations, which is very nice. That will save, again, that will compound, it will save us money in the long run. Now for our next one, I'm not really too sure. You've got something here called Ordnance Expertise, which plus 1.5 flux dissipation per ordnance point spent on weapons. We've not come up to flux yet. It is related to your shields and your weapons, essentially. It's like an energy that you have to dissipate. If you get too much flux, you build it up when you fire weapons, you build it up when you take your shields, I should say, take damage. And if it goes, there's a bar, basically you're going to take so much flux. If that gets to the top, bye-bye your ship for a little bit as it overloads, and potentially some worse things can happen. You're just left like a sitting duck, essentially, so you want to avoid that. You can vent it, and you can also just not use the shields, potentially. So you've really got to think about your positioning quite carefully. So that could be quite useful. Polarized armor, maximum damage reduction by armor increased from 85% to 90%, up to 50% armor damage reduction, calculation only. Not sure what to do for our second one. I'd be tempted to go for more cargo capacity, especially early on. We also have field repairs. I think these three are pretty good, to be honest. We're going to go bulk transport, because we're probably going to try and avoid combat, sort of, to begin with. So there we go. Now we can use story points here to give us some additional... that you can see there, it says, let's say on damage control here, you've got the effects, and then you've got elite. Now, if you can spend a story point to basically bolster your abilities, this is quite a good use of story points, because basically you can do even better things with your skills, and they are permanent for your entire playthrough. The rest of the time, you basically kind of gamble a story point on doing something that you wouldn't normally be able to do, like recovering a ship that you perhaps wouldn't be able to recover, or getting out of combat like you saw earlier. That was an option. It was before we went into the encounter. You can use it to get out of perhaps a game-ending fight, potentially. Yeah, so I don't think many things down here have elites. This one does. There you go. You've got a few abilities that do. Particularly in your own combat, there's a lot. I wonder if there's any in the leadership, because there isn't, which is interesting. Sensors. I do think I'm going to be picking up this one, because this is going to keep us out of trouble. I see you, little fish. Better detection range, and also we're not as easily to detect. +3 to burn level, at which the fleet is considered to be moving slowly. That's quite good as well. Yeah, lots of abilities. Right, go for a quick save. And on we go. So, you've gained a level. You've gained 1 skill point of which to level up, an additional point at the start of the campaign. We've already done that. Skill points are used to learn skills. I've already gone over a lot of this. All combat skills and a few of the other aptitudes can be made elite. So it is all the combat skills then. The maximum level you can reach is 15, so you cannot get everything on the skill tree. Keep that in mind. Press C to open character tab and consider your options. Right. We've already gone ahead and done that. So the reason my fleet was going this way, pointed and clicked. There you go. Right, press C to open the character, consider your options. We can exit that. Okay. Shortly after dispatching the pirates, you receive a tight beam communication from the system's main inhabited world, Ancyra. Yeah, Ancyra. I'm going to say it like that. The message is brief and asks you to travel there and contact the station commander, King, as soon as possible. Let's lay in a course for Ancyra. You don't need to do this to travel, but it helps you keep track of where you're going to and how long it will take to get there. After dismissing this dialogue, press E to open the intel screen to view the details of the message you just received. Select the message and click on Show on Map button to open the map centered directly on Ancyra. Then left click and hold Lay a Course. Alright, let's see if I can work that one out. You could also just press Tab. I do find Tab to be quite a little bit easier, to be honest, than what it's telling me here. So if I press Tab, there we go, I can see everything, and there's Ancyra. Because we're in the system here, we press Lay in Course. Laying in a course for Ancyra. Lovely. So this is the system we're in, as you can see. Now we're moving a little bit slow. Might take a while to get there. We can use the sustained burn ability. So what this does is you'll stop for a moment, but then you'll go a lot faster after it. So let's get a little look at this. So let's press sustained burn, stop, and then you go much faster. So if you're getting out of trouble, you maybe want to pop that one early. Yeah. I don't know why I've got this already. Right, you're coming up to the asteroid belt. If you go through at full speed, there's a chance your fleet may be knocked off course, and some of your ships might even suffer damage from asteroid impacts. A slow-moving fleet can avoid this danger. Press and hold S to move slowly until you're through the asteroid belt. The danger is low, however, especially since the belt is thin, and you're only going across it. So you could get away with it. However, we are gonna do this safely, just as a demonstration. Away we go. And away. Oi! Asteroid impact on drive bubble. What the? Let go of S and then that happens. Okay, there was some rocks just outside of it. Ugh. Okay, so can we see what the damage was? Was anybody on the drive bubble? I don't know what ship it was. Your fleet is getting close to Ancyra, which is a sector controlled by the Hegemony, a major militaristic faction in the sector. While in Hegemony space, a fleet is required by law to identify itself by keeping its transponder on. This is a view shared by most, though not all major factions. So generally speaking, when you come to a faction, you'll want your transponder on if you're not looking to pick a fight or looking to be stealthy, which is a thing you can do, which is really cool. Okay. So yeah, let's turn on the transponder. So it does require a double tap to use, because the consequences of using it are potentially quite major if you don't do it properly. So there we go. So that has caused our sensor profile to increase. So before we go, actually, let's come over here. Let me double tap that off. There you go. Transponder on. Uh-oh. I did not mean to do that. I was just trying to show you something. We're going to have to blow a skill point, aren't we? Oh, I'm so annoyed. I just wanted to show you how the transponder works and sensor range. Yeah, we're going to blow a story point on this. Very annoying. Alright. We gained some experience, but there's no way we would have been able to handle a fleet like that. Okay, let's leave. We've got the transponder on. So there you go, there's the effects. If anything, I don't mind actually doing that, because you got to see the effect if you do not have your transponder on. And they don't know who you are, they will engage you, so that's fine. Better I do it than yourselves. Alright, we're going to take our sustained burn off, and we're coming up to the station here. Okay, so we need to make contact with Commander King. I want to be the commander. I'm always the commander in games. Probably open the comm directory. There we go, Finian King. Hello there. Your fleet approaches, blah blah blah. Right, you connect to the local comm directory and browse the public, blah blah blah. Your connection request is accepted surprisingly quickly, given that a citizen has many responsibilities. Ah, you've come. Excellent. As you are well aware, recently, well, I suppose we can skip that part. I could use a refresher on recent events. So here's where we hear more about the story, I believe, perhaps. When I did a little practice run, I skipped all of this, so I could enjoy it all first time, whilst actually playing this through with you. Okay, a team from the Glacier Academy has been running experiments on the dormant gate in this system, trying to connect it back to the domain's gate network. Promising experiments, also they thought, until an energy pulse we expected would get a response from the gate, destabilize the jump points leading into the sector, cutting us off from the rest of the sector. Sorry, I read that terribly there. It's rather like how the sector is cut off from the domain. With small... Writ small. The stars have a sense of irony, do they not? Basically, this entire part of space, the Persean space, is cut off from the rest of the known universe, and it seems like that's the case for the rest of the universe, has all been cut off from each other as well. That is essentially what's happened, and that's kind of why everything's become a little bit chaotic and there are many factions and such, is what I understand of the overall lore of this universe. So, the miners of the Dirinkuyu station, which is also located in the system and was operating near a subsidence level, were hit the hardest. They turned to piracy, intercepting one of the last food shipments to come in, out of desperation, no doubt. But there were deaths, and they put themselves well outside the law. Their leaders know that if the jump points are stabilized, and the system once again is part of the sector, they can look forward to a life sentence at a penal colony at absolute best. Alright, now where do I fit in? The miners turned pirates are guarding the jump points, preventing us from gathering recent readings and coming up with a way to stabilize them. We do have a security detachment that could handle their forces, but they're tied up in defending Ancyra. The pirates are too much for you to take on, but fortunately you don't have to. We've got an agent on Derinkuyu Station who was able to gain access to recent sensor readings from the ships guarding the jump points, but they have not been able to get a long-range comm array to send the data to us. That's where you come in. Head to Derinkuyu Station and retrieve the data from our agent. What's in it for me? You know, I want something. Mercenary. Some credits, naturally. With more along the way. And if all goes to plan, we'll be able to reconnect to the rest of the sector, such as it is. Okay, what's the plan then? First off, make sure to turn off your transponder once you undock. I've instructed the security detachment not to give you any trouble about that. Okay, cool. So if we have the transponder off, we're not going to get in trouble now, like we just did. If you're lucky, the pirates may even think you're one of their own and let you approach Derinkuyu Station without any trouble. Still, it makes sense to go dark as you get closer, to make sure they can't get too good of a reading of your fleet. You can also approach using the asteroid belt. So the station is up along by an asteroid belt as well, so we can actually combine those. So we've gained the ability to go dark, and if they notice me, then you're in trouble. Activate emergency burn and get out of there. Right, very well. So yes, we have a few extra abilities now. So let's cut the comm link. Now we have a number of options here. We can go down to the dockside bar. We can also trade. Let's take a little look at that. Might as well go over some of this now. Let's see. So dismiss this. Right. This is the official hegemony shop. In each station, you tend to have two shops. You have the open market, then you have the black market, which has basically the open market. You've got to pay a tariff. You've got to pay a tax. I think it's about 30%. So for instance, let me sell like, these back down, sorry. Drag these along to say 10. I'm going to get, the tariffs are 31%. So I'm going to go ahead and make that trade just so you can see it. You receive 94 space dollary dues. There we go. And then let's do something similar, potentially on the black market, see how much we'd get. Now I'm going to save the black market stuff for like, we get a lot. Look how much more we get. We do get more for that. We're not going to do that yet. We're going to save the whole the black market, I think. It's a bit weird that we can buy people on the black market. I don't like that. It's not very nice. Anyway, we're going to pick up a few more crew, because we will need them at some point anyway. And generally speaking, for cargo, we're looking terrific. God, they are expensive. Whatever, it's fine. Okay. And we're going to leave it there for now. So, let's move up. We've got our transponder on for now. So we've got our sensor profile is 1600. If we go for a sustained burn, look how much more it is. I just happen to know the station's up this way. Yes, it is. It's up there. So we probably want to approach from the side here. We've got a debris field there, actually. We can scavenge in the process. So we're seeing it on our mini-map here. Let's actually switch off sustained burn, just to lower our sensor profile. Maybe come in from the side a bit more. Transponder off. Now we're down to 615, which is much better. Much, much better. Okay, we can probably scavenge soon. Almost, there we go. Yes. Alright. It looks like there is likely to be something of value found inside, and there's significant risk, so that's much better odds, really. Okay, 84% effectiveness. This should be a good operation. Okay. Alright, we can sell quite a bit of that, actually. We'll take it all. Thank you very much. Okay, now we're going to go dark. So our sensor profile, because we're in a scavenger field, a salvage field, is 154. If we go dark, we can reduce that even more. 77. That is just effectively nothing. And we do move obviously a lot slower. You're essentially just using key systems. Right, we can see the fleet there. Was that down to like 19, I believe? It's patrolling, isn't it? We need to be careful. So we can detect it, but it can't detect us. As it goes through here, though, it's going to be more difficult to detect. So we're going to just move nice and slow. Okay, steady does it. Once it gets to sort of around here. Okay, I think we can probably... There we go. Okay, open the comm. We want to talk to... Oh, there's a load of people here. We want to talk to the agent, don't we? Okay. You contact the agent using a special comms ID. And now we have the data. Okay. Well, while we're here, should we take a shuttle down to visit a dockside bar? Might as well. You take a shuttle down main concourse and quickly find a likely looking establishment. The space is dark and filled with shouts, sweat and pulsing music. Every wall and surface is pitted and stained by a rough spaces banging their mugs and laughing as a couple of pirate crews posture for a fight. You can only assume that one of the heavily augmented bouncers will spoil the fun before the weapons are drawn. Gangers and pirates, captains, watch the scene as seen smugly from smoke-filled booths at the back of the bars. Okay, sounds like chaos. Let's see what they want to trade now. Here, we don't need to worry about, like, the open market is... Oh, it still has a tariff. Sure, but you're pirates. You are the black market. In my opinion. Right? Surely. We'll do that. That's fine. Basically, when you do interact with the black market, though, you do gain suspicion. That's the only thing I will say. And you can get stopped and searched. And if you're carrying something illegal, oh, you are in big trouble. Big, big trouble. Right, let's sort of slowly make our way out. We could see what they were for a moment. Alright. Let's make our way out. Main power back on. And let's actually set a course. Lay a course in. Okay, very good. Sustained burn. And away we go. Now, they did mention emergency burn earlier. Essentially, you go even faster than this. But it uses, and it increases your burn level by 8, so you absolutely fly. However, it does use a stupid amount of fuel, and I believe you lose combat readiness as well in the process, or at least... Oh, hang on, we're getting near to a sun. Right, you don't want to be too near to a sun, because you actually do take damage from that. True story. True story. Okay, let's... Where is the station? Oh, it's orbited around here. There we go. Okay, good. Open the comms. We have your data, Finian. We gained more credits. We're also increasing our relationship as well. So that's pretty good. Apparently we're at neutral. I think we should have had more than that, but we probably upset them with the whole not using the transponder. Is there a problem? Yes. The system estimates it'll take about a day's cycle to analyze the data and come up with a stabilization algorithm naturally by then, but data would be out of date and the algorithm based on it. If we had an AI core on hand, we could analyze the data more quickly. Fortunately, there's a survey probe somewhere in this system, one left over from the initial exploration of the sector by the domain. It should have at least one AI core serving as its brain. So AI cores are very much a tricky subject in this game. Where is it and why hasn't it been salvaged before? To answer your second question, domain artifacts are usually protected by automated defenses that still function to this day, and this probe is no exception, and the hegemony generally forbids civilian interface with domain artifacts. For the sake of public safety, of course. Desperate times, however. Alright then, so, as to where it is, my data indicates it's somewhere beyond the orbit of Pontus. Get there, then head beyond the asteroid belt and use an active sensor burst. You should at the very least get a sensor contact with the probe. Head towards it, perform salvage and bring back an AI core. So you would not want to be around the hegemony with an AI core. If you get stopped and searched, they are illegal. They're illegal in most societies, bar one, I think. And yeah, you'll get yourself into a lot of trouble. Right, anyway, I think we are going to leave here and off we go. We're going to put our transponder back on, just in case they change their mind and go, oi. Yeah. And away we go. Okay, so I think, where are we going? Near Pontus. There's Pontus. So I guess we'll kind of... Hang on, I want to see if I'm doing this right. Laying course. Lovely, that's a quicker way to do it. We're just about far enough from the sun. Once you start to touch its rays, those are kind of your indicators. Get any closer and you start taking damage. And that is no good. Right, we are coming up to an asteroid belt. There's also a little station as well. So let's slow down. just to be on the safe side. This is a slightly thicker asteroid belt. We are clear of it. Good. Right, your fleet approaches Pontus. This is not relevant to us right now. Establishing a colony here is not an option. Yeah, no. No, of course it's not. Look at it. It's a gas giant. So that's something else you can do in the game, by the way. You can build colonies. Absolutely. Which is a lot of fun. Right, we are getting towards the edge here. We've got active sensor burst here. Oh, something's appeared over here. Right. Let's have a look, shall we? Just cut through. There it is. An unidentified entity. Alright. We can see it now. Domain era probe. Don't mind if I do. Here we go. Pitted by small impacts, the probe's hull displays iridescence typical of fearsome radiation scarring, though this probe's manufacturer could well date 1,000 cycles ago. Some systems are still nominally active. Very nice. Oh, there are automated defenses though. Oh, as you move in closer, well, we're going to have to engage them. Transfer command. And once again, going to go in with here. I am going to take the flagship. And let us continue. So what are these probes like? They're probably not going to be too difficult, I would have thought. But they are certainly ready. They won't have shields, so that's nice. Let's continue then. I'm going to take in a tiny bit more. We're going to go for a combat freighter as well. Yeah, that looks nice. Oh, no. Oh, wait. That's not what I meant. I meant this as well. Yeah. What have I just done? Oh, hey. Right. Oh, dear. So I made a mistake there. Hopefully, we can actually instruct these two to come down here. Okay, then. Oh, gosh. Yeah, this is a little bit tricky. Ooh! Right, the drones can hopefully distract them. I do hope they're okay. I do hope. Luckily, the drones are quite... Yeah, look at that. They're fine. They're fine. Must be careful. Must remember to actually bring in my own ship. Yeah, they're kicking there. And this does have shields, which is nice. Just some frontal shields. Basic front-facing ones. Nice. Gotta watch yourself. You can't be exploding. Can't have ships exploding that close to you. Okay, right. Anyway, now... I was going to say maybe I could demonstrate flux here, but clearly that's not going to be the case. Don't think I demonstrated anything there. Well, I was bloody useless. Right, anyway, let's pick through the wreckage. And what have we got? Just a few of the basics. We'll hold on to those. Thank you very much. Alright, so we gained some more experience, which is nice. As your fleet finishes mopping up the automated defences, a weak hyperwave ping is detected coming from the probe. It's unclear if this is a random noise from a dying subsystem or some kind of encrypted signal. Your fleet finishes its approach to the domain era probe without further incident. Okay. You receive a preliminary assessment. Yeah, 160% salvage effectiveness. Ooh. Here we go. A lot of goodies. And there we go, we've got one gamma core, not two. I got two when I did this still for trial. That's annoying. Oh well. So, we could have sold an extra one, you see. Anyway, we got some additional supplies. We're actually gaining more supplies than we're using, which is nice. We're building up a little collection of heavy machinery. We still have a lot of cargo space, so may not sell any of this yet. Let's confirm. We're done. Is there any more? There is more salvage as well. So we are going to absolutely... 100% scavenging effectiveness. Yeah, it's a no-brainer ability at the start because you just get so much more, I think. We lost 1 crew and 4 heavy machinery, but we did gain that heavy machine... Well, one of the heavy machineries back. We can take all of this. Thank you very much. Isn't that great? Alright, now we want to return to the station. Now, I just suffered some more damage from an asteroid impact. The ISS Saltis. Okay, oh, this is the refit menu, by the way, so you can refit ships, but you want to do this whilst docked. Which one's the Saltis? That is my main one, actually. So combat readiness has probably been reduced. Generally speaking, though, I'm pretty sure it'll be fine. We've got our sustained burn going. Over here, this option here, I can't even say that word. Interdiction. Oh, sorry. But this pulse basically, it interrupts anybody trying to use any sort of sustained burns or get away from you. So you use that if let's say you're going for a bounty perhaps, or someone's trying to get away from you. Right, anyway, let's have a little chit chat. There we go, we lost the gamma core, but we gained 8,000 space euros. Thank you so much. Isn't that nice of you? Okay, solid work, our technicians are getting to work. I'll send you the stabilization algorithm when the core works it up. Once you have it, it should be a simple matter of running it using your fleet's drive fields as a means of interacting with the jump points. However, there's still a matter of the miners guarding both jump points out of the system. And their forces are significant. Well, it's all relative. Our security detachment could handle them easily. But as I've mentioned, it's tied down to defending Ancyra. Why don't we defend here? You've got a bloody big old station. Your fleet, on the other hand, you might be able to handle them with some stellar piloting and a bit of luck. But it's best not to take some chances, especially not when there's an alternative. What's that? There's a ship graveyard around Tetra, ships that were deemed not worth the effort to restore, awaiting bulk transit to one of the ship's breaking facilities elsewhere. Now, though, they'll serve our needs. Go there and recover all the ships you can and break down the ones you can't for supplies. Make sure to bring enough crew to operate the recovered ships, an important detail. Perhaps an extra 100 or so. You'll need to transport them somehow. Here, take this Mud Skipper transport. Consider it as part of your reward. So we've got ourselves a little civilian vessel. I think we have 2 now, don't we? But we don't need that many. Okay, so let's have a little look. Repair your ships at the dockyards. Undergoes full repairs, cost of 6 supplies. Yeah, that's fine. Going back to trade goods. What have we got here? Do we want to sell anything? I think we'll hold off for now. We're going to come back. We don't want to consider our military options. If there's anything we want to do, really. So, where did they say it was? Down here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's go down there then. So we're going to see if we can recover a few ships. I'm hoping to get, let's say, 2 ships and maybe break down the rest. Alright, so we've just discovered a bunch of ships now. What have we got? Let's take a look at them all first. We've got a Condor light carrier, Dram-class tanker, Lasher-class frigate, Buffalo Mark II class destroyer. I don't know if that's any good. Maybe. Kite-class shuttle, Wolf-class frigate, fantastic. Is there a Hammerhead, maybe? Hammerhead, yes! So, I don't know how good the Buffalo is. But I'm eyeing up the Hammerhead and the Wolf, and I'm thinking of breaking down the rest. So I might start, actually. I'm definitely taking this Wolf, no matter what. Consider ship recovery. Well, I say no matter what. Right, we want to press F1 for more info. As you can see, it's in bad state. It's also got a lot of problems. Degraded shields. It's bad in every way. I might consider the recovery though anyway. It's going to be the ship that I would use, you see. It's just sort of quite fun. Gonna recover it. It's now part of the fleet. Okay, some of your ships are dangerously low in combat readiness. Deploying these ships could be really, really bad, basically. So we want to open the fleet screen, and for now, we're actually going to mothball this. We're going to keep it sort of, yeah, keep it inactive and such. Okay, not now. I want to begin salvage operations instead on this kite. Oh, hello. A few weapons there. Harpoon MRM. Medium range rockets. Very nice. Primary role is a finisher. Ooh. That's quite cool. And a Salamander MRM. Anti-engine weapon. So this, what it will do is it will launch little missiles that will then go, I think they'll go round to the engines, or that's what they'll try and do. Of course, they can be shot down by point defense systems. So, take all. Thank you. Alright. Consider, we do not want to, you know, spend, so when it's highlighted green like this, it means you can spend a story point. Let's begin salvage. We're not doing that. We're just gonna, yeah, salvage it. It's only a little shuttle. Okay, Condor class light. Alright. And we're just gonna salvage this as well. That's pretty good. Pretty good haul. Okay, the dram. Before we get the dram, you say it's a class tanker. What do we have? I mean... Has drones. This is it. That's what I'm looking for. We already have a dram class tanker. We may want a second one someday. Don't get me wrong. We might actually want a second one. It has like a lot of fuel capacity. Maybe down the line though, because I think you take like 20 ships. We are probably not going to recover it. I will, however, have a look at what it's got. Compromised storage and degraded drive field. The compromised storage sounds kind of key to its success. Like, it needs to have storage, so not now. We're going to begin salvage operations on it. Great. Take all of those. Lasher class frigate. Not familiar with that. Not familiar with many things, to be honest, in the game. I don't think we're going to grab it, though. I'm going to just stick to the ones I know for now, and then we'll go from there. Okay, lovely. Very good. Right, the Buffalo... Right, this. I don't know what this is, and I have a feeling I might end up regretting this. It's Mark II. Oh, I'm just going to grab the stuff. There wasn't that much there, so maybe it wasn't all that. Maybe it wasn't all that. Okay, Torsius class freighter. Is that any good? I don't know. Freighters would be nice, but we have quite a lot of storage already. And obviously as we pick up more ships, we'll get more storage too. Okay, so derelict hammerhead, we are definitely... Yeah, we are absolutely grabbing this. Let's take a look at what demod it's got. Degraded engines. Okay, so degraded engines, I think it's pretty obvious what that probably will do. Either slower speed in combat, something like that. As long as it's not leaky engines, there's like a sort of one that randomly increases your sensor detection range. But we are going to recover this, that's for sure. It can still fire really well. Yeah, let's recover this. Okay. Alright. I believe we have it. Let me just double check my fleet. Yes, there it is. We have lots of ordnance points left to spend. We're going to head back to the station. Okay, we're back. So, let's say hello. Hello. Who are you? A freelance administrator. Should we chat with you for a moment? Word is you might be getting into the colony business. If so, I might be able to help. You'll find my credentials are impeccable. Depends. What can you do? Industrial planning. I mean, that's kind of way later in the game, isn't it? So, we'll end the conversation. Interesting. Okay, anyway, let's talk to Finian Keen again. Welcome back. A bunch of rust buckets, aren't they? But put some weapons on them and get a proper refit done. With a dedicated crew, they'll do alright. It's no worse than what the pirates have got. Speaking of weapons. Right, yeah, I was about to talk to you about that. Not much to buy on the open market, but we have some stores. I've already ordered local storage space to be assigned to you, and some suitable weapons transferred there, along with enough supplies to speedily bring in the new ships back up to full combat readiness. Use them to outfit your new ships, make sure you've got enough crew for a full complement on every ship, and then break the rogue minor defenses at the inner jump point. Okay, so basically we want to press R once this conversation's over. We can press V to auto-fit. We're probably going to go for auto-fit to begin with, because, you know, we want to get the hang of the game. I take it you've got the stabilization algorithm. Correct, we do. It's good to know you're already working on a plan B if we fail. Okay, good, lovely. So what I need to press? R, of course, for refit. Yes. So here we are on the refit screen. We want to unmothball these, I suppose. Let's take a look. I guess we're going to look at auto-fit. So we have a few different ones. We've got an assault one here. Let's take a look here. I love how it's not going to cost anything, actually, because we have so many different weapons. So the assault one, let's take a look. It's got graviton beam, mining laser, harpoon MRM. Okay, what about close support? Graviton beam, Overdriven sounds mad. Oh, that one I like. It's got the Sabot SRM. Then the MRM, then the... I quite like this. Tempted to go for that, the Overdriven one. It's just the degradation on it is absolutely brutal. Can we add this? Does it cost more? I never quite understand any of this yet. Always add reinforced bulkheads. Sounds like that might be necessary given, you know, what we've got, but I think we may just do this, and we just have to sort of jump out of combat if we do get ourselves into any trouble. We do need that demod reduction ability. Right, as for you, the Hammerhead class. Well, we've got a lot going on here. Let's take a look at the options for auto fits. We've got a balanced one, which has a nice bit of everything. Heavy mortar, railguns, harpoon MRMs. The overdriven one again. What does this have? Light dual machine gun. And then we've got over here a support one, which is an annihilator, rocket launcher, heavy mauler, light needler, and 4-point defense lasers. Very tempted to go for a support. A little bit of a support role here instead. Yeah, it only costs us a little bit, so I might go for that. I'll go for supports there. Okay, very nice. Very nice indeed. Yeah, there you go. You've seen a little bit about what we can do. Now, I can obviously go in here, I think, take a look at each thing. So we've got anti-shield, primary role here. That's good. I like that there's anti-shield, anti-engine, anti-armor. A couple of anti-armor. For myself, if anything, I'm more likely to change stuff here. We've got the SRM, anti-shield, a finisher, point defense, suppression, which is interesting. I don't have anything to get rid of armor. So if I was to get rid of anything, the graviton beam, what is it? What type of weapon is it? Energy weapon. Okay, so that can do decent... It does standard damage then versus armor. Oh no, it doesn't. It says it's kinetic beam. This is something I would like to change then. So what do I own? I have a tactical laser. Standard against shields, armor. Quite tempted to go for that. What weapons... What legal weapons? There's no legal weapons. Not really anything going on here. The only thing we have is this. Essentially, I'm only good at helping out with shields, which is fine. That's actually alright. The MRM, like I say, it's a finisher. It's good against... No, it's really good against armor. So what I would do is I'd switch from the SRM to the MRM. Use the graviton beam potentially at range, because I think it's got quite a good range. Potentially 1,000, 1,200. Actually, I lie. Really good here. Oy. Kind of actually wonder what's the point then. I don't know. I'll discover that as I go, won't I? Yeah, looks nice. Alright, I think we're done there. So we now have our next objective. We're going to leave here. Do we have enough crew? Here's also a thing. Okay, right. Sorry, what's happened? Okay, yes. Support the opposes inside. You have been hailed. Attention, your fleet matches the profile of a suspected smuggler posted by Ancyra authorities. You are hereby ordered to submit a cargo scan. We'll allow the scan. We have nothing suspicious aboard. So if we'd been given 2 of those cores, we'd have only handed 1 over, and then we would have ended up getting scanned. So everything looks clean this time, which is why you want to sell that second core. I mean, I just did it just, you know, for the sake of that first trial playthrough. Okay. We're not going to move and engage. We'll leave you to it. Thanks. So, that's going to be it for this time. Next time we're going to head over to the jump point and we're going to take on the pirates that are guarding it. So, I think we're ready to go. Let's just take a quick look at the fleet one more time. Are they up to combat readiness? They are indeed. We have our 2 new ships, which are much more combat friendly. I'm going to be jumping in the Wolf. I'm going to be quite defensive, quite timid with it, but I can also redeploy quite quickly, which is nice. And then at least these 3 can take part in it. Possibly we bring in everything. I don't know. Everything that can fight, that is. Right, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed part 1. I realise it might be a bit of an information overload if you're unfamiliar with the game. It is for me. This has been incredibly overwhelming. But we've got a lot more to learn and we've got a lot more to see. So thanks for watching it, and I hope you'll join me for part 2. It's going to be every Saturday and Wednesday, this series. So part 2 is, yeah, coming up on Wednesday. Thanks for watching. See you next time.